It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball!
What's going on, everyone? Declan Goff here from Target Field, extra innings episode here. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. Hit the like button and subscribe button for Minnesota Twins news. I covered the team. I had the majority of home games. We'll actually also be live at the Minnesota State Fair tomorrow. It'll be the first show we do is at the fair tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon Central Time at the State Fairgrounds. It'll be also streamed live on this YouTube channel too. But if you're at the Minnesota State Fair tomorrow afternoon, come say hi. Have a really fun episode planned for that tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Doogie will join us too, so appreciate that. Figured I'd hop on here. I haven't done an extra innings from the ballpark in a little bit, so we got plenty of stuff to talk about. Have some injury updates for Pablo Lopez, Simeon Woods-Richardson, David Festa. But I actually want to start here. I'm going to start here with Brooks Lee. So Brooks Lee, Twins are playing the Athletics here for a 3-game series before they hit the road. But Brooks Lee has had a very up and down kind of season, right? Offensively, if you even just look at his season numbers as a whole, he has struggled at times. If you just look at him right now, he's hitting 245, and on base percentage just 288 with a 678 slugging percentage. However, and this is the life of a baseball player at times, in the last 10 games, Brooks Lee slashing a line that maybe is a little bit more sustainable. 270, 325, a 541 slugging percentage, 866 OPS, and most importantly, playing shortstop every single day, having that comfortability that he maybe didn't have before. Talked to Brooks today for a little bit in the clubhouse, and no one necessarily had a conversation with him that, hey, you're going to be the everyday shortstop now. Go out there and take it. But Brooks' side from his side is just he gets to play the position every single day, and he enjoys it. When you're the shortstop of a team, you're the captain of the infield. You're communicating, you're always talking, you're putting guys in the right position, you're preparing your teammates for certain situations, and Brooks really takes a lot of confidence in that. Rocco Baldelli said pregame that he kind of notices a different version of Brooks that's playing with his chin up, his chest out a little bit. There is some confidence there. There is for sure some confidence in Brooks Lee's game. And, even tonight on Wednesday, he's going to bat third in the lineup. He's a switch hitter, but it feels like there's maybe a corner being turned here for Brooks. And when the trade deadline happened, I think one of the guys that I was really curious to see how he develops and who do the Twins have to build around was Brooks Lee. Of course, they got some names back from the trade deadline, but Brooks's opportunity here that was presented to him was a big one. He's played some second, he's played some third. I asked him if it was more comfortable knowing that hey, is it nicer going in to a game where you're playing shortstop, and obviously those two things are different when you're at the field or at the plate, but just mentality wise, do you kind of enjoy those type of things? And Brooks Lee said he does. He does enjoy being able to be comfortable, but no one's necessarily had this conversation or this idea that he's going to be the everyday shortstop from now on. He's played predominantly all of shortstop. I don't think he's taken a rep. Yeah, he has not taken a rep at second or third base. He played second on July 28th. That was before the trade deadline. And he played third base in Colorado in mid to late July. So he has been their everyday shortstop. He's got a little bit of pop now, too. 12 home runs. I was looking back at his numbers because I think his highest home runs in a season in the minors and the majors, I think, was about 15, 16 in 2023. And I asked him if he has maybe more pop and more power to his swing than maybe he didn't know he had in him. He claims it's more of just getting the right pitches to swing at and to hit at, which psyche-wise from a baseball player and a hitter makes sense. But I didn't know if there was more power in him. I know Mackey kind of threw out that idea that I think that there is more power to him, and this might be a dude that is capable of hitting 20 home runs and being a 20 home run guy in a season and playing a good shortstop. And I was talking to Royce Lewis earlier today too, and he mentioned how different type of communicators Brooks Lee and even Carlos Correa are. Correa is a very cerebral type of player, right? He even can see things and predict things that are going to happen that sometimes even left Royce baffled of, wow, I can't believe he was dead on there. Where Brooks really maybe isn't anticipatory, not being an anticipatory of the next play, but he enjoys that communication that goes along with playing the shortstop position. And Royce also enjoys playing alongside Brooks Lee, just like he did with Carlos Correa. But yeah, it's interesting to me what Brooks Lee's been able to do, what he's been able to do kind of lately. I know people swoon at times. He might go into another rut, and I think if you were to ask me or tell me by August 20th before the season started that he's going to have a 678 OPS, probably be a little disappointed. And this is where sometimes, in my opinion, not expected stats, because I think actually expected stats aren't necessarily saying Brooks Lee's being robbed or anything. But the eye test, I see still a good ball player in there. I see the bat-to-ball skills. I see him being a solid shortstop. Is he going to be a platinum glove player? I don't know. But I think there's a better player in there than just the 678 OPS suggests that he has. Now, I would, the on-base percentage of 288, like that's pretty low. And it's pretty shocking because he had a very good eye at the plate and drew some walks and had a better OBP there. And it's not as easy to just say from my end of jumping from the minors to the majors is a simple thing to do. It obviously is not. But it's just interesting to see because I wanted to see, kind of what the Twins have here with this new roster. I'll have a note here on Alan Roden in just a second, but the other guys that remained from this, the Brooks Lees, the Luke Keyshalls, the Royce Lewises, Larnacks, and Wallners, I kind of wanted to see and take a temperature of the room of what that looks like. And tomorrow on the SKOR North Twins Show, I will go into that in more detail of, is this organization doing a good job, maybe empowering everyone, and is everyone on the same page still with what this team's plan is and what the direction of this team is now that we're about 3 weeks removed from the trade deadline. So stay tuned for that. It'll be live here on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel, plus it'll be on our podcast feeds. Appreciate you guys hanging out here on the SKOR North Twins Show YouTube channel. I got almost 100 people watching. Thank you so much. Some injury updates here. Let's start with Pablo Lopez. So Pablo will throw for the St. Paul Saints tomorrow. Plan is for him to throw about 3 innings, 45 pitches, kind of whatever comes first there. So it'll be his first appearance in a major minor league game since suffering that injury in, was it Sacramento technically? I was going to say Oakland, but it's Sacramento. So he's getting closer to making his return to the Twins. Simeon Woods-Richardson will actually piggyback off of Pablo's start tomorrow. So if you're in town, you're going to the St. Paul Saints game, you'll see Pablo Lopez and Simeon Woods-Richardson start on the mound. I guess you can say start for Simeon. They'll be on the mound tomorrow for the Twins. My I guess instinct would be that Simeon probably gets activated maybe first. He lost a lot of weight from the parasite that he had to deal with. Has been putting on more of that weight and also just returning to normal baseball activities. So maybe Pablo throws maybe another one, another type of rehab appearance for the Saints, but he's getting close to returning. I know Judd's anti Pablo Lopez maybe coming back, but as a leader of that team and as someone like Pablo that just wants to throw, man, and wants to pitch and wants to see if he can do this, it's going to be important. And he's had a he's been out for almost 4 months now, 3 months now, and as long as he's hitting all the check marks, Nick Paparesta talked about this, the Twins head trainer today. If he has hit every check mark that he's supposed to in his build-up and his rehab appearances, there's really no reason for him not to be able to go out there and throw, assuming that health provided, he's checking those boxes, and he feels good and wants to continue to play. So Pablo will be in a St. Paul Saints uniform tomorrow. I can check that out. And then also with Simeon Woods-Richardson as the piggybacker. David Festa Festa will throw live batting practice in St. Paul, I think on Saturday. So Festa's been on the injured list here too. So he's kind of getting his way back in the Twins' plans. I wasn't able to ask about this, and it's something I'm, to be honest, trying to maybe get a little intel on, because this is just my instinct is I really like the idea of Festa in the bullpen. It's no secret the Twins have to fill out a bullpen by opening day next year, because the guys that they have now, maybe outside of Cole Sands and Justin Topa, honestly, might be coming back just because of a numbers thing. Outside of those two, man, I don't know who else is in the opening day bullpen next year. Now, you shouldn't be sacrificing starting pitching depth immediately. We have seen that play out here the last 2 seasons with the Twins. I just feel like maybe to preserve health and also get a look at a guy that might be more effective in the bullpen as opposed to being a starting pitcher like David Festa, that it'd be an intriguing option there. We'll see what they end up doing with him. You know, they've been doing a lot of these TBAs. The fan in me or just the observer in me, I don't like that. I think, number one, it puts pressure on everyone. It puts pressure on your offense to have to score, 7 to 9 runs just to feel comfortable to win the game. That opener, that TBA person who's might be preparing behind the scenes and it's not just told to us, but there's a lot of pressure on that pitcher to deliver because they have just this short window to get through and to get to the finish line, and that can be added pressure. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's a sustainable way to win baseball games. So, I think guys like Simeon coming back here, maybe Pablo coming back, are good. And maybe Festa still obviously returns to the starting rotation when he feels good about being activated from the injured list. But the TBA plan, I don't think that's good for business in my best Paul Levesque voice there. So Pablo update, Simeon update, Festa update. Christian Vasquez, who had the shoulder cleanup from I want to say a freak infection, but a strange infection that took place. So he got an infection on his elbow. I believe it was in Detroit or Cleveland, and he got some antibiotics, and it unfortunately caused his shoulder to be infected, and they had to clean it out. It was a whole thing. He is, I believe he's in Miami. He's in Miami back at home recovering. He won't be back with the Twins for an evaluation until early September. So this probably means more of Ryan Jeffers obviously getting the bulk of starting time. Mickey Gasper's caught a few games here and there. So they have some other options, but right now Christian Vasquez not closer to returning to the Twins, who's in the last year of his contract. Those are some injury updates here for you on the SKOR North Twins Show. Appreciate you guys. A few other comments here. I'm going to be live for 5-10 more minutes, so if you have any comments, fire away. Thorson's Collectibles says Marco Raya is going to be our next Griffin Jacks. Another guy, Thorson's Collectibles, that I would like to see get run as maybe a bullpen dude in September with the Twins. He's still very young, and I certainly don't want to pull the plug on him being, again, a starting pitcher. Maybe there's effectiveness there. But, Yohan Duran was what? Let me look this up to confirm. Yohan Duran, who now is in Philly, he came up as a reliever. He never made a start with the Twins. He came up as a reliever at 24 years old after spending some time in the minor leagues. And, he was making starts and, to be honest, had some good numbers. In 2019, when he came over here from the Twins, he was in the Eduardo Escobar trade. In 2019, between high A and double A, as a full-time starter, he had a 3.7 ERA. I think did he have Tommy John, or he wiped out in 2020, so he didn't have a season because of COVID in 2020. And then in 2021, he was a starter, got injured, but then was immediately converted into a reliever. And since he's been the same age Marco Raya, has been a full-time reliever. So, yeah, I'd be curious on it. I think the stuff there is interesting because I think he does have really good stuff, but I guess I'd be worried he's like Jorge Alcala, where got some good stuff, but he doesn't know where the hell it's going. So pick your Jorge Alcalas, your Sam Dedunos. Good stuff, just no idea where it could go. But Marco Raya maybe being the next guy, and that's where they've done a good job with that. Griffin Jacks, Louis Varland, they've converted good guys there into relievers. and I think Raya and maybe even David Festa are dudes. Let's see here. To go to the bullpen. 720S says, realignment idea. Twins, Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals, thoughts. Yeah, I think this would be cool. I guess then, you got to separate the White Sox and Cubs maybe, but I'm for realignment. We had a conversation, not on the Twins show about it. We talked to Trev about it. Trevor Plouffe had some thoughts on it. You can find that episode. But we had a bigger talk about it on a Mackey and Judd episode, also on Tuesday. So we gave the majority of our thoughts there. I think realignment's a good idea. Why are the Twins playing two teams in the Eastern time zone in their own division? And you might laugh at that, but that's flights, that's sleeping in different time zones, moving all around. And even though it sounds like a glorious life flying in an airplane and sleeping in a Four Seasons, and I'm sure it is a pretty damn decent life, doesn't necessarily mean it's easier on the body and easier to be a baseball player. So yeah, I would be for this. And then I know this is more of a national thing, but I'm not that connected with the White Sox and Royals and Tigers as we once were. And the Guardians have kicked the Twins' ass for the better part of the last 2 years. So probably getting Minnesota away from Cleveland is honestly a good idea. But yeah, I'm for something like that. There was something else I wanted to get into here on the SKOR North Twins Show. Before I say goodbye, was it prospect related? I feel like it was prospect related. Let me buy some time here as I fly the plane solo on the SKOR North Twins Show. I know the Twins had an updated prospect list from ESPN, right? Kylie McDaniel went into that. This is where, again, however you want to get your prospect lists, completely up to you. So Kylie McDaniel had some guys in his top prospects. He has Walker Jenkins ranked 11th in his updated list. Eduardo Tate, 26. Luke Keyshaw, 30th. He's going to graduate, obviously. Emmanuel Rodriguez still 57th, very high in Emmanuel Rodriguez, and Connor Prelip as 82. Prelip now in St. Paul, by the way. I think I talked about that on Sunday. Charlie Soto, who I believe just had his season wiped out. So, and this is no disrespect to Kylie. He knows way more about prospects than I certainly ever will. But Emmanuel Rodriguez has been hurt all year and hasn't really been effective. Kalen Culpepper's having a great year. On the MLB pipeline, he's cracked the top 100 prospect list. He's having, obviously, a very, very solid year for, almost 3 teams. I think he'll be in St. Paul maybe by the end of the year. It's about a month left, a little less, in the AAA season. And if in AA, if Wichita's in a playoff hunt, they typically don't pull players out of that. So if they're in a playoff hunt, he might be delayed, maybe going to St. Paul. But yeah, those are prospect lists. However you want to do it. I tried to be more proactive on it. You guys wanted more stuff about prospects that I didn't really do last season, so I tried to sprinkle those in at times. So if you want more of that type of stuff, sweet. I actually might be spending a couple more outings and time in St. Paul before the season ends. For those that don't know, I do have a baby on the way. Due in about 3 weeks here, so once baby is born, there might be some lighter episodes on the extra innings front from myself as I deal with that, but the SKOR North Twins Show will still live on with Mackey and Judd and Coach Trev, so still good stuff, even though the Twins were sold and it was a whole big thing. The SKOR North Twins Show does not slow down, and I think it's so cool and honestly rewarding to see how many of you guys have supported the show, especially over the last 3 weeks during that tumultuous time with the trade deadline and the ownership stuff. So thank you to those who have hung out here on the SKOR North Twins Show. Be on the lookout tomorrow, a fun episode live from the Minnesota State Fair, but also live here on the YouTube channel too. It will be podcastable a little later than normal. Typically on the weekdays, I get our normal episodes up around 11 to noon Central Time. It's going to be more like 1 or 2 o'clock Central Time. So if you're an audio-only listener of this podcast, there will be a little bit of delay getting that episode to your feeds just from our recording windows. But you can watch the episode here on the Twin Show YouTube channel. We'll be out there. Go to skornorth.com/fair to see a full list of what and when we plan to broadcast from. But we will typically be live from about noon to 3. There's a little wiggle room there. For most days at the Minnesota State Fair for Thursday, Friday, and then Monday through Friday of the second week. So we'll be out there 7 times. So I love the fair. So if you're coming out, come say hi. Appreciate everyone that does come up and say hello to us. We're personable, we're nice, we're normal people. We always appreciate our listeners. So if you're going to be live at the fair, or if you see me walking around with like a Prano Pup and a beer, come up, say hello. Let's talk some Twins. Would love to hear from you. So thank you guys. Appreciate you, and we will be back tomorrow on the SKOR North Twins Show.